Good day, every pony. Okay, today I have a mind-made story, which is a story I made on my mind. It's a Philly love story, and they'll be growing up to good little mares and stallion instead of being fillies. And these two already have their cutie marks. Their names are Lightning Jewel and Lunar Defiance. Hope y'all like this story. I was gonna put me as the filly in this, but no. Never mind. I guess if I one of my if yeah uh if y'all want me to do a love story with me my um my character me my character Shadow Knight. I said my character twice. Why? Wow. Ugh. Oh, my character Shadow Knight and another mare, then I'll be happy to do it. And if any of you, well, lady chicks. Okay, sorry if I'm saying this wrong, but one of my friends wanted me to do this because I told him I would ask this, and he told me to say this. So don't blame me. And any of you ladies wanted to make me have you as a little filly, send me a picture over Facebook, and I will no Skype, and I will have that checked out. So yeah, I'll put my Skype name down in the description below. So I'll get on with the story. And I'm sorry if you guys see like two lines in between it. It's because I'm trying to do something. So I couldn't like put the both of them together. So I just left it like that, just two pictures, like how I do it. So yeah, we'll get on with the story. Philly Love by Brony Joe. Chapter 1. The intro. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you all the story. Tell every single one of you fillies about how I met her. And of course you all are wondering who is her, but I will get to that in a sec. Now, it all started one day in Canterlot. A few of the royal guards, and including Princess Luna, which I loved Princess Luna. I loved her night skies. I'd always sleep during the day and stay up all night just to watch her gazing stars. I was so amazed to see her. I've always wanted to meet her in person, but I mean, just to hang out and stuff, not to hear news. Once she told me about my mother and father, I was in my house all alone for a few days. They took everything in the house except for all my stuff. Luna watched over me at the night, and then had one of the royal guards contact my full sitter. And she came to live with me. So, but that was a few months ago. I'm skipping, okay, Philly, I'm going to skip a few months ahead, because it's going to take a while just to get there. Anyway, where was I? Yes. The part of how it all, another part how it all began. But the main part, every pony, y'all ready? As as Lunar Defiance said that, all the Phillies in the classroom said, "Yay," including the son of Filthy Rich, who was Diamond Tiara. He wasn't really fond of Rich because of how he'd always try and find get-rich-quick schemes. But the one he was fond of was the granddaughter of Granny Smith. Boy, was Granny Smith the most fun young filly to hang around with. Alright, pony. It was, well, of course, a small night. It was a small night, as usual. We come to Ponyville, where she lived, and her and her roommate were talking. Her roommate didn't care about me living there for until I'm all grown up. Man, did I truly love my full sitter. But it was just Philly love, not the kind of love of how I felt of her. Like I said, I'll get to who her is in a second. Now, the day after, my full sitter enrolled me in the nearest school. So I came to the school next day, and the teacher asked me to say my name. And I said my name. Lunar Defiance? I said. Every pony laughed. Oh. Except for Granny Smith and her. She just stayed quiet, but Granny Smith was saying, "It's not a nice way to say that. Nice way to do, well, not nice at all, is what I'm trying to say, every pony." No. And I just sit in the desk and all that. Of course, I was a Pegasus, and that's how I got my cutie mark. Well, that was when I was a Pegasus, but this magical box turned me into a unicorn, and I didn't get the box back to change back, so now I'm stuck as a unicorn. But how I got this was because, well, she was having a bit of trouble because she kept on getting in danger, and so did most ponies. So I tried my best to help them, and that's when I saw that one giant thing. I couldn't quite see what it was. It was a rainbow thing going to the sides, but I had never seen a rainbow do that. And I thought the legends were true of about the Sonic Rainbow. Man, was I smiling. Saved everything, even the cold-hearted ponies, including the changelings. So, I helped Philly Chrysalis out once, and then just left her be, without saying anything. So it was the next day. School. Usual. All the kids would tease me. Filthy. Would try to get along with me, but would always end up being evil and doing mean things to me. However, it was the third day at lunch when she came up to me and asked, "Mind if I sit here?" She asked that. Man, was I happy. I just said, "Sure, go ahead. I don't care." She asks if I wanted to hang out with her today, and I said, "Why? All I'll do is just make people pick on you too." She didn't care. She was the one who was getting picked on before me, before I came along. That's probably why she stayed quiet, is because she just felt bad for me. So she told me no, it's not because of that and all that stuff. So I said, "Okay, well, wanna come over to my full sitter's house?" And she's wondering why I said that. And I told her about my parents and why I was living with my full sitter. And she said, "Sure." And I asked her for her name, and her name is Lightning Jewel. All the fillies gasped. Lightning Jewel was one of the best Pegasi in Manhattan, that came from Manhattan, well, to the fillies. And this was before Rainbow Dash ever came along to save people. But something about this pony was making me feel a bit awkward when we were hanging out at my full sitter's house. So we hang out, and last time I saved someone, I asked her if she wanted to watch. Of course, she had her cutie mark before me. She was an expert at finding gems, even though she was an earth pony. So there was a gem on her flank, although mine was blank. My flank was blank. She watched me save one person, and I come back and my flank just starts glowing, and boom, my cutie mark. Red lightning bolt with black wings. Man, was I so happy I finally got my cutie mark. I fell in love with her right then and there, but it was filly love, all I thought. About 3 years later after that. So, yeah. I'm going to skip to this part of 3 years later, all you little fillies, alright? All the fillies said, okay, and so it went on. I hope I didn't miss anything. Oh, hey, Lightning Jewel, you didn't miss anything. I just got to the part where it was about 3 years later of when we first met each other. Hope you don't mind, Miss Shirley, but, could Lightning Jewel help out as well with the story? Yes, she could. Okay. So, it was about 3 years later when I saw Lightning Jewel again, but at Canterlot. She was just roaming around looking for jewels because, well, some jewels were kind of hidden in trees of the Canterlot. So she was looking for those. I bumped into her. Of course, my horn bumped into her hair and made a huge split through it. Hey, watch where you go. Lennar? Lightning Jewel? Is that you? Oh my god. How have you been all these years? Been better. Well, technically not having a horn instead of wings is a lot harder than it seems, because I wake up, like, thinking I still have my wings. It's kind of hard. Oh, yeah, I heard about your wings. I'm sorry that happened. Nah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Don't worry about me. Anyway, you wanna come over to my house, hang out for old time's sake? Or just go to the Canterlot Cafe? Sure. So, me and Lightning Jewel both went to the cafe. And we just started talking about how our lives have been, what's been happening between us since then, and that's when I told her, hey, Lightning? Yeah? There's something I gotta tell you about 3 years ago, while we were fillies, and we'd always hang out over at the park. Yeah, what about it? I've always sort of had a crush on you, but that was filly love. It was nothing compared to... I stopped talking, because I didn't know what was going on. Her lips pressed against mine, saying I exactly knew what she was applying. She had the same, too, and she still does. So I just let it go and be free. And I smiled. So we went over to my place, hung out, played a few rounds of bingo and some board games. I told her I had a gaming console, but I didn't know if she liked games or not. But she said, sure, we could play those, and played some. We played some games, pretty fun games and all that. And it was time to. And it was getting dark. She said she had to go home, and this is what I asked. Oh, if you want, you can stay here for tonight. I don't mind. So that's only if you want to. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. I'm just applying because it's out way too dark. Oh, okay then. I have a spare room you can use. I use it for the guest room. Okay, thanks, Lennar. Means a lot. No problem. Of course, I ended up turning red. Redder than ever. She thought I was going to turn into a red pony instead of staying white. So I just, yeah. It was the next morning when I found a little Lightning Jewel snuggled up in the same bed as I am. And her head against me. I woke up and smiled a little. Didn't know what happened last night. She woke up and pecked me on the cheek. And I went to go get some food. She was sitting on the couch. And I let her know I was home. She called her roommate, saying that she's going to stay with someone for a while. And her roommate knew, but Lightning still was paying the rent, and still paying half the bargain she had to pay for. So that was all happening. And that's when everything went all, yeah. So, of course, I went to go make some coffee. And then I went to go sit with her, and we watched some TV. Then it went dark again. Celestia knows why. Time flies by, I guess, once you're having fun. Hanging around the mare you love. Or, well, for mares, it's the colt. Now, hold on, every filly. Well, all you fillies. I'm gonna say is, if the crushes you have now, they're just filly love. And what I mean by that is, if you're gonna think you're gonna wanna be with them for together, and then you're gonna realize it wasn't just ordinary love, like love you want to spend your entire life with them. No, that was just filly love. That's how I felt until, well, Lightning Jewel kissed me, and I just fell back in love with her. Alright, so let me get back to it. We went to lay in the same bed again, and of course went to sleep. Yeah, we slept till the next morning. Of course. Why would I say that? You already would know. Then I went out and bought some nice clothes from the shop, put them on, and I asked her if she wanted to go to a fancy restaurant today, and she said sure. So I did that, and of course I skipped ahead. I'm sorry, every pony. I skipped ahead about a few months. Sorry for you, fillies. I meant to say it was the next month. Well, next few months. When So, whatever. I'm just gonna continue, okay, Tony? Okay, all you little fillies and colts. They all said okay, and Bernard Defiance said, well, actually continued on. Okay. Now, where was I? Yes. The romance part. Now, when me and Lightning Jewel went on that little date, that's when I wanted to ask her it. Of course, with a few months, felt like I was ready. Felt like I could take the commitments. I knew what the commitments were, and I was willing to take them. So I kneeled down, pulled the ring out with my magic, and asked her to marry me, and she said yeah. Yes, she was crying tears of joy. I was happy. I was very, very happy. It was the best moment of my life. So then all that wedding things happened, and then that's when we had our our filly, our foal. Well, it's not a foal anymore, it's a filly, if you guys know. And, yeah. One of the fillies raised their hand and asked, who is your, filly here? Oh, our daughter? Well, technically we have two. We have a son and a daughter. One earth pony and, well, one unicorn and one pegasi. Of course, I couldn't understand why it was a unicorn. I thought it would be an earth pony, seeing as how our little unicorn's mother is an earth pony, and I was born a pegasi. Well, Pegasus, part of the pegasi. I just don't know why. Alright, let me continue. Okay, so that all happened, the wedding, and the ceremony, and all the words saying, you may now, and then the Justice of the Peace said, you may now kiss the bride. I kissed her, and then we just both were so happy together. We went back to my house, stayed there for a few days. Of course, my full sitter was there, and her roommate, well, technically is now her wife. And I was happy. My full sitter was like a mother to me, so yeah. So I walked up to her and started talking to her. Hey, Lyra. It's nice seeing you after I moved out. Oh yeah, it's been a while, Lennar. It really has. So, you and Bonbon been having fun lately? Oh yes, we have. That's great. glad you two finally told each other and stuff. I'm glad for you guys. Well, thanks, Lennar. I'm glad you got married to a wonderful, wonderful mare. And from your childhood, too. Yeah. She is a lovely mare, isn't she? I... Well, I took her back to the house. Me and Lightning just slept, and we both, well, of course, you know how, I'm not gonna say it since I'd probably get smacked upside the head by your guys' lovely teacher, Miss Shirley, who was my old teacher back in my Philly days. Isn't that right, Miss Shirley? Why, yes, it is, and it is a delight to have your son and daughter both attending the school. Well, I wanted them to experience the best teacher I know. Of course, because all the teachers in Canterlot were obviously mean to me. And I know your expectations, so I won't do that. It is fine. I'm gonna learn about it anyway, so yeah, go ahead. I'm not gonna say it. I want them to find out when they're older. It's the respectful thing to do. And responsible. Okay then. So then about 8 months later, all you Phillies, was when Lightning Jewel was about to have our foals. We thought it was one for what the doctor said, and it was a girl. So we did that and stuff. And yeah, she just didn't feel like what she used to one day, and then, well, of course, you all know what mothers do, what mothers say, I guess. Of course, everyone thought I was a bit different. Of course I was. I didn't come from this world. Came from another one. My parents were... Well, I was born in this world, but my parents were both from the, another world. So, that's probably why I was so unique, I guess. So, yeah. But then well, what the humans say, when they're about to have their baby, full, is that their, water broke. I can't quite remember. It's been a while since I've been in the human world. And I don't want to go back there again. It's too challenging for me. Even though I'm was supposed to be born in that world. So yeah. 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 Then she comes and tells me I'm able to come in, and I see that she's carrying two babies. I jumped up for joy, and then the doctor smacked me upside the head, saying "shush." Then I quietly jumped up in the air again, and then just said "yay" quietly. Saw my two darling children, my two beautiful foals, a unicorn and a Pegasus. I was so happy. We were both so happy. Lightning nearly cried. And so on. That happened. We raised them good. And when we found the names, well, we didn't quite figure out their names until a few days later. Their names are Sweet Cakes and Shadow Knight. Our two lovely foals. Apparently, we don't know why our son looks like a mare. Well, a mare instead of a colt. Which is still a mystery to us. But we don't care. No matter the difference, still love our son and our daughter. No matter how different they are. And then we have them here today. And that's a story on my life and how Shadow Knight and Sweet Cakes came, well, to be, and how I and Lightning Jules met. Okay, class, I think that's enough parent sharing today. Now go on home, and I'll see you all tomorrow. And Diamond Tiara, your dad will come and speak for the class today, and tomorrow. Yes, Miss Cheerily, said Diamond Tiara. Alright, come on, kids. Let's go, since while we're here, we can take you home. Hey, so Dad. Yeah? Did Grandma and Grandpa really die? They didn't just ditch you behind? Yeah, they died. But oh well. Don't worry. Your mom and I will not leave you both. You nor your sister. But if we ever do, please take care of her. For us, please. You got it, Dad. Alright. Let's go home now. Sweet Cake's coming? Yeah, Dad. Hold on. Sweet Cakes was almost a blind girl. She didn't need her glasses. She could see pretty well, but not that well. Sweet Cakes was a lovely mare who took after the caring of her mother. And Shadow Knight was like Aunt Vinyl. All music-y and dubstep-ish, or wubstep-ish, and a bit classical from time to time, like Aunt Aunt Octavia. Of course, there was other aunts of his, of them both. So yeah. Then they went home and was happy to see that Lightning Jewel was sitting on the couch with a baby and the foal in her stomach. Hey, Lightning, I'm back. Hey, did the kids' presentation do good? Well, actually, it was supposed to be a presentation of me I made. But I said I did pretty good. Dad, you did awesome. That was the best story I've ever heard. Lennar? What story did you tell him? The story of, how you and I met, and then ended it off with having two beautiful and lovely children. Oh. Well, that's nice. That is why you're my very special sun pony. And you're my very special sun pony. I love you, Lightning Jewel. I love you, too, Lennar. I'll go get dinner started, okay? Okay. Take care. I just need to go get some stuff from the shop. And then I'll be back. So Lennar walks out the door, goes to the store, grabs all the stuff he needs for dinner, and then comes back to see that Lightning is playing around a little with Sweet Cakes and Shadow Knight. I smiled and then said, "Hey, don't forget about me." Dad! Daddy! Lightning bolt went up on Sweet Cakes' eyes, 'cause the lightning bolt on mine, she wanted a cutie mark. She wanted a cutie mark kind of like mine, but she kept on trying to get the cutie mark, like those three little fillies made, when they made that group, Cutie Mark Crusaders, I think it was. I laughed and smiled from the lightning look in her eyes. It was cute how she did that. And when Shadow Knights just started playing uh, the DJ set from Ant Vinyl. That's when he got his musical cutie mark. It was surprising how it was the same cutie mark as Vinyl's. I was amazed. I was truly, truly amazed on the site. But Lightning wasn't too happy. 'Cause now Sweet Cakes was getting teased. She never got teased. She was always the most loving one and never was teased at all until she was the only filly in the class that didn't have a cutie mark. She came home and ran into her room, and then I asked, "Hey, Shadow Knight, what's wrong with your sister?" And that's when he told me all about it. Oh, she's getting teased at school just because she's the only filly that doesn't have a flank. Well, cutie mark on her flank. Ugh. I'm sorry, I can't speak today because I've been yelling at them for picking on her. And that's why you're a good brother to her. Lennar, why is Sweet Cakes in her room crying? A bit of teasing at school. Calling her a blank flank, as remember they called me before? Oh, that's right. Yeah. I'll go and talk to her. No, I will. Alright then. I'll go and get dinner started. Oh, okay. So as she goes up the stairs and to her room, Shadow and Lennar go to the kitchen and cook dinner. All that. So then, Lightning and Sweet Cakes come down to eat dinner. Sweet Cakes goes back up to her room and plays with her toys. And Lightning Jules follows her to play with her. And me and Shadow Knight go to the living room and play some games for the night. Well, everybody, that's part 1 of Philly Love. I truly do like this story, even though I did make it off the back of my head. It is pretty long how I made it. I am very sorry about that. But, oh well. It's a good story overall. I'm sorry that I kept on pausing a lot. I'm pretty tired right now. That and I was trying to get on some ideas of the story. So yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep now, guys. So, bye everybody.